Most recent research over the last few years has focused on business models because, as we know, the most common outcome for an entrepreneurial venture is that it fails. And we certainly don't want to send talented, motivated entrepreneurs out to be the next failure statistic. So I've been working on understanding how business models can be developed and how one can get to a business model that will potentially reinvent how your industry operates and make life very difficult for others. And one of the poster children in my newest book, Getting to Plan B, that deals with these business model issues is a company called Ryanair. We've all flown Ryanair, but what Ryanair did was really unique. If you go back to their beginning, Ryanair was an Irish airline that was flying people back and forth to London from various Irish airports and from Dublin to various English airports. Very simple business. There was one big problem. They were losing boatloads of money. And their accountant said to the founders, you know, if you guys don't fix this pretty soon, you're going to be out of business. They said to Michael O'Leary, their accountant, you're so smart, you come in and fix it. So O'Leary joined the business. And the first thing he did is he flew to the U.S., where he met a guy named Herb Kelleher. Kelleher was the founder of Southwest Airlines, and Southwest had pioneered this concept of a low-cost airline in the U.S. O'Leary came back and said, we're going to do a Southwest on Ryanair. We're going to change the way we do this. And if you were to think about it, if you were Michael O'Leary back in the days when it was Lufthansa and British Air and Iberia and all just the traditional flag carriers, what kind of costs could you take out if you wanted to radically change your operating model? That's one part of the business model. And he said, well, let's see, what can we take out? We could take out the food, because the food's no good anyway, right? Nobody wants it. Let's take the food out. We could take out a lot of cost in the back end of an airline by buying only one kind of plane. That means we only need one set of spare parts, so we're just going to buy one kind of plane, Boeing 737s. We could take some cost out of the ticketing process by saying, let's eliminate travel agents. So the only way you can get a ticket on Ryanair is, in those days, to phone Ryanair, because there was no internet at the time. So you had to phone, and guess who paid for the phone call, of course? The customer had to pay for the call as well. One of the interesting areas was you want to take time out of the on-the-ground time, because you make money in the airline industry when your planes are in the air, of course, not when they're sitting on the ground. So what did he do? He said, well, let's see. One of the things that slows us down on the ground is when people put all their garbage in the seat back pockets. So let's buy our planes without seat back pockets. And it takes a little time for somebody to go around and push up the little shades by all the windows in between flights. Well, let's buy planes with no window shades. On and on and on went O'Leary, taking every possible cost he could out of running his airline. The result is that Ryanair today is the single biggest airline by passenger traffic in Europe, and Ryanair and Southwest are the only two airlines in the world that consistently, year in, year out, quarter to quarter, make money in an industry that, in the aggregate, loses money every year. It's a remarkable story about a guy thinking about how to do business radically differently and create a business model that's fundamentally different from that in the rest of the industry. So in my new book, Getting to Plan B, we tell 20 stories of companies that have radical new revenue models, radical new gross margin models, radical operating models like Ryanair's, radical working capital models like Costco, the retailer that you have to pay to shop in the store. What a radical idea, but it transformed their possibilities and their return. And then investment models. So thinking critically about your business model rather than simply plugging a bunch of numbers into an Excel spreadsheet, which is sort of the typical thing an entrepreneur does when he starts to think about his business model, is a really important first step, and I recommend it highly.